meeting to order. Thanks for waiting. I know a lot of you guys got here early, like we did. And so I know you've been here for a while. We'll get through this as expeditiously as possible. This is the Genoa Township Board of Zoning Appeals. It is May 19th, 2026 at 7 p.m. We're at the Genoa Township Hall at 5111 South Old 3C Highway, Westerville, Ohio 43082. We have two agenda items tonight, BZA case 2026-13, which is an area variance at 3982 and 3994 Worthington Road and 4077 Rome Corners Road. This is the second meeting, continued from the last meeting. And we also have BZA case 2026-17, which is an area variance on Beach Avenue, and this is the first meeting. And then we have election of officers. Staff present is Paul Benson and Simon Bell, Deputy Zoning Inspectors. And I will call the roll. Ms. Yu?
Here.
Ms. Ludlow?
Here.
Mr. Wilcoxon?
Here.
Mr. Campanella?
Here.
Mr. Holloran?
Here.
And our newest member, Ms. Hamhill.
Here.
Oh, I see, you guys sit behind Paul and I can't find you. Okay, I'm going to read this into the record so everybody is aware. As is the adopted policy of the Board of Zoning Appeals, all applicants will be granted an opportunity to make their formal presentation. The audience will then be granted an opportunity to comment, followed by questions from the board. This policy was adopted by the Board of Zoning Appeals to provide for the orderly discussion of business scheduled for consideration. The chairperson may limit repetitive debate, and we're going to limit comments to 3 minutes. The first thing that we need to take care of is the meeting minutes from the prior meeting held on April 28, 2026. And I'll give you a moment to look those over since we didn't get them until late this evening. And then I will entertain a motion to approve whenever you're ready.
Motion to approve the
okay.
April 28th, 2000 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Campanella seconds. Any discussion? Any items, revision, anything noted? Okay, then we will call a vote. All those in favor of approval of the meeting minutes of April 28th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay, motion carries. And we will go into our continuation from the last meeting of, okay, I call the meeting to order at 7:03, and I'll read the legal notice into the record. Everyone that wishes to speak on this matter, please sign and raise your right hand. Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Right hand, I know the difference.
Are we all doing this?
No.
Okay, sorry.
It's just for the first case.
Oh, sorry.
It's for Worthington, the Worthington Road case. Signify by say, sorry, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. You got me. Congratulations. All right. I'll read the application back into the record. Step Up Property 6 LLC, Step Up Property 7 LLC, and Step Up Property 8 LLC via John Ross requesting approval of a variance to create new lots less than the required minimum lot size at 3982 and 3994 Worthington Road, Westerville, Ohio 43082, and 4077 Rome Corners Road, Galena, Ohio 43021, currently zoned rural residential. This is BZA case 2026-13, continued from April 28th, 2026. The legal notice for this hearing was printed and published on May 9th, 2026 in the Delaware Gazette and posted at the Genoa Township Hall on May 5th, 2026. An attempt to mail notice of this hearing to property owners contiguous to and across the street from the subject property was also made. We're accepting into the exhibits as follows: Exhibit D, which is the revised staff report. Exhibit E, which is all public comments received by the Department of Development and Zoning between March 5th and May 19th. And on behalf of the township, Mr. Benson, if you would like to present the revised staff report.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I'm going to go quickly through the staff memo just because we already went through it at the previous meeting with all of the history of the
Sure.
property. I'm just going to highlight the things that have changed. The applicant did provide some responses to staff's comments of the memo. With his new application, you were provided that with your application forms. He did give us responses to Duncan versus Middlefield at the previous meeting. And he has revised his application, so it does now include all three of the properties that he owns that he is looking to move the lot lines around on. At the time of the first memo, we had not received any public comment. Since I wrote this memo, we had received two, one that you had received a couple days before the meeting, and then there was one that was emailed to us at 6:57 p.m. the night of the meeting. I have provided you with that one also, and also emailed that one to you the day after, so you've had that one. And then we had another letter that was dropped off today. Again, I sent that to you earlier with a copy of that, and you do also have a hard copy of that. So you have been provided all of those. One thing to note, that the letter that came in today is the same commenter that commented the previous meeting with a letter. So it is two comments from the same resident. And then the final note I have here is the applicant had provided in his comments about the staff memo from the previous meeting. He'd included some legal jargon from one from the Ohio Revised Code, an Attorney General opinion, and a Supreme Court case. Along with that, he had also provided a outline of his presentation for today so that I could provide that to you, which I did. You do also have hard copies for that again. And with that, he included a couple other additional cases, both Supreme Court of Ohio cases. All five of those cases in staff's leaning do not really apply to this situation because all five of those are discussing non-conforming uses. The use on this property is not non-conforming. These properties are zoned rural residential.
Right.
They are being used for single-family residences. Single-family residential is a permitted use on all three of these properties. So it does not have an existing non-conforming use. Instead, it is an existing non-conforming dimensions. So the lot size does not hit the minimum 2-acre lot size that rural residential it has. Now, what the existing non-conforming means is that we can't give him a zoning violation because his lots are currently under what the zoning resolution says for the minimum lot size. Because they were there before that rule went into place, he does not have a current zoning violation for having his lots there.
Right.
He is allowed to have those lots as long as he wants. He can continue to build on those lots as he can. Now, he does have to follow all of the other setback rules for anything that would be new to the property. But the reason that we told him that he would need a variance is that once he changes the lots at all, then it becomes new lots. They're no longer existing non-conforming lots. They're now new lots that do not exist currently. Those new lots would have to be conforming to the zoning resolution as it stands today. And that is why we told him that he would need a variance to be able to create these new lots that are under the minimum 2 acres. That is all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
I do not. Anyone?
Just to reiterate,
Mhm.
any change in the configuration of these lots would render the non-conforming status null and void, correct?
Correct, because they are allowed to be as they are now. Once they are changed, they are now a new lot, and that new lot must comply with the zoning requirements.
Okay. So in the literature where I read where it said he was not looking for a variance, that's not correct?
He would have to speak on that for what he is asking. We have informed, we've had discussions with Mr. Ross, the applicant. We did tell him that to be able to create these new lots, a variance to the 2-acre lot size minimum would need to be required. And then there's also questions that we had brought up at the previous meeting in the staff memo of once these lots are configured this way, the one flag lot there that is on the west side is possibly going to have issues with being able to be a buildable lot because of it doesn't hit the 150 feet of width for where the frontage measurement would start until further back in the lot. And at that point, the front setback and the rear setback would be nearly touching each other. But that's not saying that you couldn't build on a lot. It's just they would have to build on it. They would have to get variances to be able to build on that lot, again, for whatever house that would want to be built on that lot.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, let's have the applicant come up. At either podium or table.
All of you got a copy of my notes, so at least you can see the details in case you don't hear it clearly. Is my voice coming through good enough for you? Okay, good.
Sorry, the acoustics in here are awful. so-
Yeah, and my voice has got a little bit of a problem recently, too. Are you able to hear me, Mark, or?
Yeah, that's better.
I think
if
it's
you-
okay.
yeah,
Maybe I'll
thank
put
you.
this mic close, maybe it'll help. If you're not hearing me, let me know. I'll try to speak up or whatever it takes,
Thank
okay?
you, I appreciate that.
Okay, so heading down the notes here, the subject, this is my version of it, and you're going to see that Paul and I differ on our interpretation of the legality on this. The subject is an L-shaped area of land, 3.62 acres, consists of 3 Delaware County defined lots, and on the sheet I gave you what those acres are that add up to that total. The Rome Corners was a brick schoolhouse. It's got not concrete, it's got stone foundation. It's still there, all the bricks there. It's about 16-inch thick walls. It was on a 1909 Rand McNally map that the township published some years ago as a schoolhouse. And in the garage, I found a book that had an old textbook, a little one that had stamped in it that it related to the school. Kind of interesting history. The 2 lots coming off of driveways off of Worthington Road were from a 1956 plat, which is a copy in the application. Each lot is individually lawfully non-conforming, all 3 individually they are. Therefore, the entire L-shaped land is also lawfully non-conforming. And I emphasize the word land because you're going to see that that's what the Ohio Revised Code uses. They don't say lot. Genoa Township zoning says lot, and I think that's really illegal. I think land is more appropriate. And we'll get into that. And that's where Paul and I are going to differ a lot. And so it gets into a legal challenge here. So my request is that this land area and these 3 lots in it, and that I reconfigure them to give you a whole lot of more conformance to zoning, that retain its lawful non-conformance. That's what this is all about. That's what the request is. So, and it's a rather simple concept. I think if anybody here from the last meeting would see it on the maps. It's simply taken 2 long narrow lots, bowling alley lots, I've heard them referred to, and taken that separation, that internal boundary, and there's 2 internal boundaries, replace them. And then we'd have a more normal rectangular lots, and it has almost no effect on the Rome Corners property, except takes a little 0.14 acre rectangle and swaps it out with the other 2 to make a flag lot driveway for them coming off of Rome Corners Road. Doing that maneuver would eliminate nearly 9 out of 11 identified nonconformances related to those 2 Worthington Road lots. And the 9, it's like 8.97 if you're doing it on footage of the 150-foot setback required on a flag lot where the flag is. So it's going to be close to 150 foot, but not practical to get it quite 150. I mean, if you look at the total nonconformances here of 11, that's like minuscule, that little difference. And it's grandfathered right now to be far less. It's down into the about 60 or so feet something range. The rear of those lots are 66 feet or something, whatever. I mean, they're really narrow. So it's an enormous improvement in the lot width versus the 2 what's there now. There is no change to the external L-shaped boundary. Absolutely stays the same. The meets and bounds, it's the same land, the same dirt. There's nothing different at all. The only big difference is we're going to have would be nice sized lots that would be far more conforming. Okay, so this is not a request for a variance, even though it's been titled as such, as it's written up. I'm not asking for a variance. I'm asking for a continuation of the lawful nonconformance. It's not a dimensional variance for acreage nor for lot width. What I'm claiming is those lots legally have that right now, and I intend to retain them and give you a whole lot more conformance. That's the whole concept. I can do that because I own all 3 of them. It's a creative idea, and if you deny this now, and they don't have common owners in the future, and somebody does something different with them, you may never have this opportunity again. And part of the objective here is, if I get approval on this, I want 3 certificates that the 3 rearranged lots are non-conforming uses. And I want you to realize that what I'm asking for here is different than if someone had taken a 3.62 acre parcel, that single parcel that was conforming to current zoning, and they came in and asked you to divide that into the 3 amounts of acreage to make 3 lots. Clearly that would be a violation of zonings, and we'd have all kinds of problems. But the fact that this as a group of land as lawful non-conforming, it should retain that legally. Okay, so let's get into some stuff here. Okay. The prior info I gave you about the Ohio Revised Code 519.19 that discusses this about the land, uses the word land instead of lots and such. It has to do with nonconformances. That applies. So I disagree with the zoning staff. The AG's opinion from 1969 clearly gets into this and talks about people's Ohio Constitution, U.S. Constitution rights, and then the Supreme Court case, the Ohio Supreme Court, about Boyce is the people's name. I think I say that relates and applies too. Okay. So I've done some research and read about some additional cases. The first one, it's on the sheet of paper, so I won't repeat all the details that's written there. But what it has to do with, and this would sound on the surface that it maybe wouldn't apply, but I'm telling you it does in principle. It's a 21-acre mobile home park, started in 1963 up on Lake Erie. And so that's like the big main core piece of ground. And I'm equating that similar to my 3.62 acre total. Up there, zoning was passed in 1972, making that non-conforming, that 21 acres. And then in the year 2006, there was a request up there, zoning approved to split that into 3 parcels, the 21 acres. Only the center lot of the 3 had mobile homes on it. What they did is they allowed a different area to have mobile homes, but not this area, probably because it was lake frontage, I think. And so this, one of the 3 parcels, the east one, was even sold to a different owner. And it had an administration building that was used for the mobile home business, but it had no mobile home lots on it and no mobile homes. And so that's a different piece. It's been separated into 3 pieces coincidentally, kind of like what I'm talking about here, taking my whole thing and breaking it into 3 pieces. There was a challenge about it. He wanted to make that mobile homes on that new part. And the ruling was, and so this is going up through, so it went from the BZA to a common pleas court to a court of appeals. Ruled that the non-conformance status continues to apply to the new split off lot. So the fact that they took that original piece and broke it into three areas, the non-conformance was carried forward, and they let him put on mobile home lots where there had never really been none. They said that the original non-conformance is applicable and carries, and the fact that it changed owners didn't matter either. What they said is non-conforming use, this is a quote, applies to the property as a whole, not just a portion thereof. Another quote is, a mere change in ownership does not destroy the right to continue a non-conforming use. Another quote, the right to continue a non-conforming use runs with the land and is not confined to the particular person who was owner at the time the right became vested as non-conforming. So notice that the words land and property are specified, same as in ORC that has to do with nonconformance, section 519.19. It does not use the word lot as Genoa Township used in their section 25. So if Genoa Township didn't, Genoa Township's word says single lot. And by trying to restrict to that, they're depriving me of looking at my land, which is this L-shaped, and I'm saying it should carry these nonconformances, no variance required. Okay. They also made a distinguish here that nonconformances have to do with existing lawful areas of land before the enactment of a zoning resolution, whereas to be opposed to variances only arise after the enactment of zoning. Okay. So we got a second case I will cite here is came out of the Supreme Court of Ohio. I've got a case number. It's a municipality, which is a slightly different, but pretty much the same in legal things as far as the state of Ohio is concerned, to townships. Has to do with mobile home lots. And one of the quotes, and this means zoning, may regulate non-conforming uses, but may only eradicate them, meaning non-conforming uses, by prohibiting their expansion. So what that means, if you're trying to expand something, the township and zoning can say, no, you can't do it. But if you're not doing expansion, you can't tell them they can't do it. So here's a quote right out of the case. Appealees are not trying to establish new lots on new land. The word not, okay? Second one, quote, appealees do not seek to expand by adding new lots or by adding additional acreage to their nonconforming use. Next quote. The lot will not cease to be a nonconforming use if utility connections remain. And they're talking about electric lines running to the mobile home pads. And so what I want you to know, there was some dispute there. What happened was municipal tried to say that, okay, if a mobile home is removed from the lot, then that's abandonment. And this is that the courts, the multiple levels went against them and said, no, that's not abandonment. If it's got a utility connection and it's an empty pad sitting there, it's still a mobile home business, and that qualifies continuation. And they also said, no, you're not going to rule out, you're not going to zone out mobile home lot by lot. And so, you know, if they had 50 mobile home lots, you're not going to have this thing look like a checkerboard or something with with lots that they can no longer use. That's not a way to zone them out. Also notice a dwelling was not required to be present to preserve the nonconformity, which tells me that if I got approval that I'm requesting here to rearrange these internal boundaries and have 3 lots, that doesn't mean I have to put a lot on it, a house on the lot to reserve my right. It could sit there as a vacant. I would have non-conforming continued permission, okay? So in my case, there is no expansion, same outer boundary, same lot count as 3, same individual lot acreage as original. There is no increase of non-conformity, which that would be a way for you to deny this if I did some kind of an expansion of that. It's only a major reduction in non-conformity. It's not abandonment. I have paid property taxes, electric, water has never been, none of that's been discontinued. I write those checks every month, and I've mowed it 13 years or whatever. Okay, so we covered that. Okay, covered that. Okay, this is a quote out of that same case. Any zoning resolution or ordinance will be deemed to be unconstitutional if it is clearly arbitrary or unreasonable with no substantial relation to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. I believe conceptually this is applicable to zoning's code restriction of lot-by-lot review and excluding my non-conforming L-shaped land as a whole, and where ORC states the word land. Okay, and then there's a third example, and this is a final, just in case somebody needs to wake up. Delaware County Regional Planning Commission had a workshop back in the year 21, and they had an attorney there named Pete Griggs, and he had a bunch of tips apparently coaching them, and may have been, I don't know if they invited township zoning people there, but he was giving them a lot of tips about how court cases and things go. And one of the things that he mentioned was if the case is a constitutional appeal issue, the loser pays legal fees. In fact, he cited an example, and you all are probably aware of this. The city of Powell lost a multiple level case on some big development, and they ended up owing $1.8 million, of which their insurance company paid half, and they were due to pay half of it. So my question is, Genoa Township willing to risk going to trial and being liable for legal expenses if you lost the case? And why would you go to that extreme? What do you have to gain when what I'm offering you is an enormous increase in conformance? That's the whole objective. You put in tighter zoning, and you hope over time you can work out the nonconformances and get them conforming. Well, you know, I don't have a lot stretcher, so I can't make these lots more acreage, and I can't make them wider, but I came close, really close to it. And if I don't rearrange these 3 lots, and I'm not required to do so, Genoa Township, the whole public loses. Any questions for me?
Anybody? Questions for the applicant? Anybody? Mark?
Okay, good. Well, thanks for your time.
Oh, you might as well stay right there. Don't run off.
I don't get to escape?
Oh, you don't get to run off that easy. Okay, if nobody has any questions for the applicant or staff, then let's go to public comment.
Okay, you still want me to stay up here?
Yes, up to the
Okay.
podium, please. And if you would give us your name and address.
Yes, Kelly Susie, 4,000 Worthington Road.
Boy, I didn't hear one thing of that.
Kelly Susie, 4,000 Worthington Road.
Okay.
Our property is actually pictured on his diagrams. So we're south and to the east of the Rome Corners property. And I just asked the board to realize that this area was zoned rural residential. The Pedrazas, who were here last meeting, had to do the same thing that we had to do, which John doesn't want to do, which is take the 2+ acres of land and make it conform to,
Were you here last month or no?
Yes.
Were you, and, okay.
take it to.
I thought I remembered you talking about the same thing, but go ahead, I don't mean to stop you.
Take, yeah, he's asking for something different. We have all conformed, the properties all to the north of us are all on 2+ acres lots on that same side of the street. So I just don't see why there should be any reason that he would do something that's not in alignment with the Genoa Township rural residential zoning requirements there. So I just ask that you deny his request.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sir, okay. Were you here last time
I
too?
was, and
See,
I am
my
actually.
memory's not quite faded yet.
Yep, no, Kevin Martin, 4021 Worthington Road. We are directly across the street
Oh,
from these
okay.
2 lots. I'm also the author of that document in your folder. I do want to point out that Paul said it was the same as the last one. It is slightly different. There is some new text in there regarding cases he called out. But what I do want to point out is we're not here to debate legal, cases and all that. Leave that to the attorneys. Genoa pays attorneys for that. I'm not here for that. What I'm asking you to do is to stick to the, clear zoning rules written that, we can follow, specifically Article 25. It's very clear. If you haven't used the property in 2 years, you're done. Your nonconformities have ended. Keeping electricity or water is not a criteria for usage. I just want to stress that. So the other thing is that area, my wife, my family, we moved there specifically because of the rural area. We love the openness. You stack houses like this, we lose that. Now it becomes more, I wouldn't say city life, but it's not urban rural anymore. And it completely defeats the whole purpose of the rural zoning. So I'm just asking, stick with what's written, what the zoning rules say, and I think we'll find that this just does not comply. It's very clear. You can't draw new lines and say, it's the same lot. It's not. And then also muddying usage, Paul's already called this out. Usage and area are very distinct, different things.
Yes,
So,
I'm aware.
I know, again,
In college.
no, and I'm not, I just want to stress the fact and get it on the record so that everybody can see it.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. for your
Anybody
time.
else? Okay, we don't charge extra. If you got sworn in, okay, then we're gonna close public comment. Okay. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Benson, or?
I can add a couple things. Again, he went over the court cases. I just want to point out in every single court case, I'll go with the two that he stated here in the letter that he sent today. The very first one, which was the Cleveland Road versus Berlin, it talks about the mobile homes. The very first quote in there is non-conforming use applies to the property. Again, this is not a non-conforming use. This is a non-conforming area.
Right, it's an area variance,
Yes,
not a
use
variance.
does not have any issue here because it's used as residential property. It's allowed to be used as residential property. Use has nothing to do with this. Again, the Supreme Court of Ohio case from 2013 that he stated from today, on the third quote, appellates do not seek or expand any new lots or add any additional acreage to their non-conforming use. Again, this is not a use issue. This is an area issue. Now, as far as the changing the words lot versus land, as he stated with the Ohio Revised Code 519, that is the section of the Ohio Revised Code that allows townships to enact zoning. And they say that the zoning can enact rules that everyone has to follow within the township based on their zoning district. The rules for the rural residential zoning district are laid out in Article 6, and they state that any lot that is created has to be at least 2 acres in size. Now, because these lots were not 2 acres in size when that zoning was enacted, they can stay. We will not give us any zoning violations for this property. There's nothing currently on the property that we have issues with unless it's, a nuisance for tall grass or, puts a junk vehicle on there. We could go after that, but we can't do any zoning violations for the lot size. They even brought up the definition of lot in Article 4 of the zoning resolution. It states a platted parcel or other piece of land separately identified with a unique parcel identification in the county auditor's records. So these are lots. Lot is what we use here at the township in our zoning resolution, which has been enacted by the trustees as per Ohio Revised Code 519. And the rules for the lots are in rural residential is they have to be 2 acres in size if they are not legal non-conforming. Once these lots get rearranged and the lot lines get moved, they have now been new lots. And if they are not the 2 acres minimum, they would require a variance to be able to be created new lots of less than 2 acres, which has happened in the past. Now, the applicant has stated he does not want this to be a variance. I would say for staff's purposes, if he wants to withdraw because he is not requesting a variance, he may. I would say that the Board of Zoning Appeals does not have the authority provided by Section 3 of the zoning resolution and the Ohio Revised Code to grant legal nonconformity keeping. You have the authority to grant a variance. So if he wants to state that it's not a variance, I would say he could withdraw and say it's not a variance, and he can go through other measures to try to accomplish what he is trying to accomplish. Or we could continue with it being a variance to create new lots of less than 2 acres.
Mr. Ross, comment?
I disagree.
Well,
The request is to continue the
Okay,
nonconformance.
so the Board of Zoning Appeals does not have the authority to provide you a request for continuance of nonconformance. That's not what the Board of Zoning Appeals does. They provide either variances or conditional uses or administrative appeals. What you could do for that process is you could continue this hearing with it being a variance to create new lots that are less than 2 acres in size. Or you could submit a subdivision application to the township, and the township, as it was drawn, would probably deny it because the new lots would be less than 2 acres. Then you could apply for an administrative appeal, which would then be heard in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. They would determine whether or not the township was in the wrong in denying your subdivision application. Or we could just
I wanna
continue with
leave the
you, with
application.
you stating that it's not a variance, and we could continue with how the board wants to
The
go then.
application is to continue the nonconformance. That's
Okay.
the application.
The
Now, if you
staff would
legally
recommend
wanna
that you
deny
don't
it,
have the
I'll
authority to do
proceed.
that.
we're not gonna argue semantics. If you want a variance, then we'll consider a variance, but a continuation of the nonconformity is not what we do. I can only agree with what Paul says. So,
You can deny it on that basis if you want to, and then I'll find out if I can challenge that.
Well, it's not a denial, it's not voting on it at
It's-
all.
yeah,
It's not, yeah, it's,
His fee, he has applied. You can choose what to do with the application. So,
well,
And I'm not in a hurry. If you want to go get some legal advice, you're welcome to, I'll give you time to do that.
well, I've been doing this a couple days. I'm not sure we need legal advice. And frankly, okay, since we're in apparently discussion, I'm just gonna get right to the heart of it. For me, you guys, I'm only one vote here. I just happen to run the meeting. Okay, first of all, threatening us with legal action is not gonna fly with me. You're not the first one to come in here and do that. You won't be the last. I don't care, okay?
I didn't
We have
hear the
county
first,
prosecutor that's our legal representative.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your statement. Please start again.
I said, you came in, if you come in here and you threaten the board and the township with legal action, that doesn't fly with me, okay? Which is exactly what you did, okay? And I'm not gonna vote for a variance where I am put in a position of, is he gonna litigate? Is he not gonna litigate? You have the option to litigate this as long as you want. We have legal representation. We all do. The township does. So threatening us with legal action if we deny the variance doesn't work,
Okay,
okay? That's not gonna happen.
okay. I didn't. my
And frankly, I
intent wasn't to
find
be
that,
threatening,
I
so-
find that pretty underhanded. Okay, I'm gonna make my comments since I've been on the board pretty much longer than anybody. I agree with Paul, number one. I agree with staff in that these cases that were presented are mobile home. They're for use as opposed to size. And I don't know how particularly relevant they are. I am deeply concerned, and I'm not sure, as staff has pointed out, I'm not sure we can take something that requires a variance and say, okay, here's your variance for 3 parcels, trade one variance for another, because that's really what we're doing, is we're trading a variance for another variance, either of which are good options. If I were, and I've heard from the people that live contiguous to this property, across from and next to this property, some people had to merge 2 of these lots to make a conforming lot. And that is, when you go through Duncan versus Middlefield, that's a consideration. Can your predicament be feasibly obviated? Well, it can. Make 2 lots as opposed to 3, and then you have 2 conforming lots. I mean, if my math is right, and chances are it's not. But in my opinion, that's it. And I don't believe, the only thing I will say is that while they're non-conforming in size, I think that the way he's reconfigured the 3 lots probably do offer better utility. But I'm not sure you do any service to the community that's around, the properties that are around it, where people had to merge 2 lots, where they had to have 2+ acre lots and paid for them and built on those, and now you want to put 1.5 acres, 1.25 acres. I think that you impair these people. I think you basically float in the face of these people that did the right thing. And basically, I guess that what I'm saying is that when you come down to the Duncan versus Middlefield analysis, does this conform to the neighborhood? They will not. They do not now, and they will not. And this doesn't cure that. This doesn't cure that situation. And I don't believe this is the best remedy to split it into 3 non-conforming lots. And that's all, and like I said, that's assuming that we even can consider approval of this variance, which I'm not convinced we can. So,
Well, I mean, the variance is written here. I mean, we can vote on whether.
well, yeah,
we can
sure,
create-
I mean, yeah,
Right.
yeah, we absolutely can.
So I had a couple questions.
But
So,
I'm talking about in practical purposes, I'm not sure that we really can, because you're taking non-conforming for non-conforming, but,
right, no, I'm just saying, I mean,
No.
there's a specific application in motion
Yeah.
here that,
sure.
but we can't vote on whether they can remain non-conforming. We can just vote on whether he can have 3
Oh, yeah,
smaller lots.
oh, absolutely.
I don't
So-
think we can.
I mean, it's right. We can vote on this particular thing here. Whether you
So,
have-
so staff would argue with that on on the application, where it states for the dimensional variance, he did not state that he wants a variance from section 606. He stated he wanted, his request was to retain lawful non-conforming status of 3 lots after rearranging internal boundaries to remove almost 9 non-conformances.
Okay, I was reading.
So, yeah,
the-
so
I was reading what was in the
staff has,
so,
staff
okay.
had changed it to the proper request of
Okay,
it being variances to create 3 lots of less than the 2-acre minimum.
gotcha.
Normally, I would say, in this app, I would say, is it okay for the applicant to change the request to the request that would hit the correct section of the zoning resolution? He has said no, so you can do with that as you may. At the same time, I would say he did complete the variance application process, he paid his fee, he is due either some sort of vote on his application, however you would like to proceed with that. Unless he chooses to withdraw, then he would just withdraw and not get a vote on the application.
Okay, got it.
I feel like we're being asked to vote on something we can't vote on. That's my
Yeah,
concern
but you
here.
explained
My,
that,
my
right.
concern, if we follow the law, which you are our guidance relative to the law in this case, we're being asked to vote on an interpretation that the applicant has brought forth that would, if we tried to do it, would put us out of compliance with the law.
That would be staff's recommendation, yes.
Yeah, and that's how it feels to me, and I don't feel like I want to be, interpreting law and going against law by trying to conjure a variance where none is being asked. I'm really uncomfortable with this application, and I feel very much like the chair does, that this is being engineered for an outcome without respect for what our laws really mean and what they were meant to protect. It seems to me this is all about you, sir. And you're asking us to take your interpretation instead of that of the law of the entire community. And I'm not comfortable voting on what you're asking for.
Travis, comments, anything? No?
I would agree. I don't think it's our place to say whether, it's just not, we grant variances. If we were having a discussion of granting a variance to change these lots to make one lot 0.89 acres, one lot, that's a different scenario, but we don't have the authority to do what you're asking. So I agree with Mark. I don't feel comfortable with ruling on it either.
I'm in agreement.
Okay, well, any other comments, discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion at this point, unless you guys have any other questions from the applicant.
What is the motion? The motion is to not vote.
Yeah,
Pardon?
so, yeah, what
I-
is, the-
I-
do we need to,
I
I
would-
mean, do
I-
we need to restate
Well,
the motion of
Are you
what
gonna,
was specifically,
are you gonna?
on the application?
Is anybody willing, well, okay. Should we make a motion for denial? Should we go through Duncan versus Middlefield?
approve or denial, it's still what is the motion? It's not this creating 3 new lots of less than 2 acres.
I mean, the applicant is requesting for us to ignore local statutes to help him achieve an interpretation of his own property for his own betterment. That's what I hear, and I will vote against that right now, if you need a motion for that.
I'm open to guidance from staff because you're right. It's changed from the motion as crafted here. It's actually changed, and I'm not sure that we don't have any choice what to deny.
So one option that you do have is to do a move to schedule a decision. And you can then spend that time determining how you would like to make a decision on this. So if you go to page 12, there's a motion for scheduling decision. It's similar to a continuance, more of just, we're going to make a decision, but we're not sure what decision we want to make at this point.
Well,
So we're going to make a decision in the future, and you would then schedule a time to have a meeting. It would again be a public meeting, similar to a continuance, and you would then meet at that time and place to announce your decision, and then have a vote.
I respect that we have that option. I feel like it's kicking us down the
I was
road.
just gonna say that. To me, that's just delaying.
I think substantial justice to this applicant would be done by finding a way to reject what's being brought to us so that he can come back with something that we could consider on the merits, according to the law. I would like to consider something on the merits according to the law, not an interpretation for him to maintain non-conforming status after he breaks down the boundaries of the property, which would put us in a position of trying to prove something that's not legal. It just seems silly to keep kicking this down the road. And this has been a production. It's been a production.
I don't disagree with you at all. My opinion, and mine only, is that I think rather than making a scheduling decision, I don't think making a scheduling decision matters. Okay, whether it's today, or 3 months from today, or 6 months from today, short of new information, I don't believe that my opinion is going to change on this application. With that in mind, we're being asked to do apparently what we can't do. So, we are kind of at a stalemate here, as near as I can tell. Unless because my opinion would be that we deny the application based on its merits or lack of, and conclude the case. That would be my suggestion. And if that's appropriate, then I would be happy to make a motion on that basis.
And Mr. Ross, if you don't feel like that's what you want us to do tonight, and you would want us to continue this instead, potentially, and come back with an actual variance request, we can also hear and vote on that accordingly.
My answer to that question is, if I ask you to decide as I have, and you deny, can I then come back and ask for a variance as a separate new application?
That would be a legal question I would say you would have to ask an attorney about. Normally, we do not allow requests for the same variance multiple times. It's kind of a double jeopardy, as in like you're now just kind of taking over the township's time and the Board of Zoning Appeals time by asking for the same ask over and over again and getting denied over and over again. So my suggestion for you, and again, I do not work for you, but as far as that goes, I would say that would be a question that you would have to request legal counsel about. It is something you could always request a continuance to another meeting to be able to provide yourself time to be able to decide that.
I was just going to suggest, would you like another 30-day continuance so that you can do that, do some more investigation, and maybe speak to counsel, and then we can reconvene on that next month or the month after even.
I would rather consider an application from you, sir, on the merits, as opposed to an interpretation that you're asking us to accept, which we can't accept based on the law. If you withdraw and bring something forward that we can vote on, I'd be happy to consider that with all equanimity.
So that would be coming back with a variance request versus how it's stated today, is what he's saying.
Well, I'm more than happy to make a motion for a continuance on this case, if you guys,
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you.
I'm-
We can vote on it, on the application, or we can continue it, or we can table it, or
Yeah, if you want to give me 30 days to get some legal
I'll
advice.
give you 60. I mean,
Okay.
It's whatever you, it's
Okay, let's
whatever-
do that. I attempt to do it sooner, but let's go, if you give me 60, let's delay it for
Well,
60.
it might be a case, you may need to, A, find the right counsel,
Yes,
and you may have an issue getting an opinion from counsel as well. It could well take you that, because don't forget, you have to have your documents in 3 weeks before the hearing.
okay.
So that, I mean, but you do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I'm trying to give you some options, that's all
Okay,
I'm
so
doing.
you'll say 60 days?
So our meeting is July 28th. And you would need to have your materials in, if there are any, on, what's the 6th?
7th.
7th? Oh, I was close, okay. With the holiday, I was, so, and you would need to have everything in July 7th. Okay, is that acceptable to you?
It's going to be one of two things, right? I either decide to proceed that,
You either, okay, well, I'm not gonna give you advice, but
I'm
It's-
asking what I can do to you.
I think staff may be better to counsel you with that than the board.
Okay,
You know, I feel that I'm interested in granting you a continuance. What you do at that time is about you, okay? You use that time however you need to use that time,
okay,
okay?
uh-huh,
And then with perhaps staff's guidance, maybe not, I don't know.
okay.
Okay. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV, so. Okay, I'm gonna move to continue the public hearing for the subject application known as 3982 and 3994 Worthington Road and 4077 Corners Road, BZA case number 2026-13 until July 28th, 2026 in the Genoa Township Hall. Additional or revised materials will be due at the Genoa Township Development and Zoning Department by July 7th at 4 PM, and I assume that's Friday. No?
July 7th would be a Tuesday, but,
Oh, okay. Is that the date, though?
yes, correct.
Okay.
What time is the meeting on July 28th? Can you state that?
Oh, 7 PM.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. And I'll entertain a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. Mr. Campanella?
Yes.
Ms. Ludlow? Yes. Mr. Wilcoxen?
Yes.
Ms. Yu?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. So we'll see you on the 28th of July.
Good, thank you.
Oh, since I'm here. And this hearing is concluded at 7:58. Okay, give us 2 minutes and we'll go to the second application. Now. Oh, that goes with that. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
Oh, here, I can do this.
And there's only the first one in here, right? There's only the first place that's in this particular one, right? 'Cause I'm not seeing the second one.
You know what, you should gotta go back to like page.
Just kept looking through it and I was like, no, I'm seeing.
This is it. because the continuance is in the table and it's all in the back.
Okay.
And then the cases are up in the front. Okay, you guys ready? All right, we're gonna call next case at 8 o'clock. And I will read the application into the record. Read the legal notice into the record. Those that wish to appear on this case, please stand and raise your right hand. Yeah, you might as well. We don't charge extra for it. Oh, sir, you might as well. Come on, you know you want to. Your wife's going to tell you later that you should have. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Be seated. Thank you. Okay, you guys needed to stretch anyway. Melissa and James Beard, Sebald, excuse me, James Sebald, requesting approval of a variance to allow an above-ground pool and surrounding deck to encroach into a side yard setback on lot 335 of LB Heights subdivision, 8305 Beach Avenue, Galena 43021. Currently zoned rural residential, and this is BZA case 2026-17. The legal notice for this hearing was printed and published on May 9th, 2026 in the Delaware Gazette and posted at the Genoa Township Hall on May 5th, 2029. An attempt to mail notice of this hearing to property owners contiguous to and across the street from the subject property was also made. We're accepting into evidence exhibits A through E, which includes the legal notice, the sign-in sheet, the application, staff report, and any public comments received by the Department of Development and Zoning between May 1st and May 19th. And we will start with our staff report.
Thank you, Mark. So this lot was created when the LB Heights subdivision was platted in 1956. As with pretty much most of the lots on Beach and Hickory and Walnut and in the LB Heights subdivision, they are pretty much all legal non-conforming as far as lot size. They are zoned rural residential even though they are a 0.45 acre lot, which does mean they do have to conform with all of the rural residential lot coverage and setback distances, except for what is already existing. So anything new would have to comply with all of those regulations. In 1966, a permit was approved for a single-family residence. That house was not built. In 1972, a permit was approved for a single-family residence. That is the house that was built, it currently sits now. In 1999, a permit was issued for an accessory building, which is an existing detached garage. The applicants purchased the property in October 2006. On April 7th, 2026, someone came in and visited the office and informed staff that the existing fence is over the property line and a pool was constructed incorrectly, which was causing drainage issues. While investigating the claim, staff found multiple structures that do not have approved permits on the property, including an accessory building, pool, and deck. On April 21st, 2026, township staff emailed the listing agent for the property to make them, because the property is for sale. So we did.
Is it currently for sale?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So we reached out to the listing agent to let them know that there may be issues with trying to sell the house because there are potential existing zoning violations. A zoning violation letter was being prepared by staff, but while that was being prepared, on April 22nd, an application was received for the fence in the accessory building replacement along with the subject deck and pool, which is what they're requesting for the variance here is the deck and the pool
And it's the
that are,
current property owner
that are,
that's
that are within a
making
side
the
setback.
application?
Yes, correct. The applicant then also submitted a variance application on May 1st, 2026, after discussing with staff once they got wind of the potential violations for encroachment into the side setback and discussion about their permit that was sent in. So the application was received on May 1st, which is after the April 21st application deadline. Staff did contact Chairman Harmon, and Chairman Harmon said he was okay with allowing that application to be heard during this meeting. So that's why we have it for this evening. The variance request is from section 160902B, which is a side and rear yard setback for accessory structures. states that it shall be 10 feet. When the required side or rear lot line for principal building or lot is less than 10 feet, then it can be at that reduced setback. But the side setback is normally 25 feet for rural residential zoning. They are requesting, as quoted, a variance for existing above-ground pool with surrounding floating deck. The application as submitted stated they were requesting relief from sections 115 and 1709-01C of the zoning resolution. Section 115 is actually just general information about zoning permits and what needs to be submitted with zoning permits for them to be valid. And then 1709-01C is actually a section that just talks about the fact that your pools must be fenced. So staff would suggest that the board requests, or ask the applicant if they are okay with switching their request to 1609-02B, which regulates the accessory structure setbacks. Submitted application did include answers to the variance questionnaire. They did also submit the answers to the use variance questionnaire, but that is not valid because it's not a use variance. So I would suggest just disregard the questions for that one. The materials that they submitted state that the pool is 5 feet from the lot line and that the deck is on the lot line. The balance of the original complaint has been closed out. After the complaint was received, the applicant did have a survey done of the property. The survey showed that the fence did not encroach onto the neighbor's property. And then township zoning does not regulate drainage. So whether or not a pool was installed improperly, which was causing drainage issues, it's not going to be a township zoning issue. We do not get involved in drainage. We don't have any drainage experts on staff that can testify to any of that. We usually tend to tell people that complain about their neighbor causing issues with drainage that that's more of a civil matter between the two neighbors, that the township would not get involved. The non-permitted accessory building was included in the permit application for the pool and deck. The application for non-permitted accessory building would be denied as it exceeds the maximum number of accessory buildings per lot. However, due to the new zoning resolution that went into effect May 14th, if the accessory building is less than 200 square feet in size and less than 12 feet in height, it is now exempt from zoning. They're allowed to have 2 buildings that would be exempt from zoning on their property. So that's going to be something they'll have to work out with staff just to make sure that if it is exempt, then it's going to be allowed. If it's not exempt, they may need to get another variance to be able to have 2 accessory buildings on the lot because they are less than 1 acre in size. Copies of the application were provided to police, fire, and maintenance. Fire Marshal Cato did respond with no issues. And as of the date of this memo, zoning staff has not received any inquiries into the variance request, and that still stands. We have not received any inquiries from neighbors. This application did include letters from 2 neighbors stating that they were okay with the variance application. And that is all I have for you, unless you have any questions. Yes, sir.
The scope of this request is pool, deck, and an accessory building?
No, the accessory building is not part of this. It does not encroach into the side setback. The variance that is being requested here is just for the pool and the deck to stay as it exists.
All right, and the deck, the setback is 10 feet required?
The setback for the deck and the pool is 10 feet for both of them.
And one of them is on the line, which is out by 100%.
Yes,
And
correct.
the other one is 5 feet off, which means it's off by 50%.
Correct, yes.
I'm just trying to get magnitude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do you know, Paul, did the current property owner construct the deck and the pool?
That would be a question for the applicant.
Let's hear from the applicant. You got here incredibly early.
We'll try to make this fast for you guys, because I know
You
you've
know,
been here.
our time is your time.
Well,
so
thank you, thank you.
It is what it is.
So, good evening, members of the board. My name is Melissa Sebald, and I am a resident of Genoa Township, located at 8305 Beach Avenue, the property in question. First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Mr. Bell and Mr. Benson have been very, very kind. I am here to request a variance, area variance for the side yard setback related to my existing above-ground pool and surrounding deck. The request is to maintain the structures as they currently exist. No new construction is proposed. My family and I have lived in this home for nearly 20 years. When we purchased the property in October of 2006, a portion of the deck already existed. That pre-existing footprint shaped how the backyard has been used long before the variance was requested, as illustrated in the side yard setback presentation. If you look at the presentation on page, the visual evidence slide, number 2, Delaware County website map, you can kind of see a yellow arrow that points to the pre-existing deck. During the 2020 to 2023 COVID pandemic, we planned and completed the installation of an above-ground pool and an expansion of the deck. As many homeowners experienced during that time, we faced material shortages, contractor delays, and the limited design flexibility. We proceeded in good faith under unprecedented circumstances, and the project was completed with the intention of creating a safe, enjoyable outdoor space for our family. With 2 young boys, the pool provided our family and friends with the ability to safely gather outdoors and enjoy time together. There are many unique conditions on our property that really limited where the pool and the deck could reasonably be placed. The septic tank and the leach field. The septic tank is in the blue circle. The leach field is in the red. And so we wanted to make sure that it did not interfere with that system at all. The shape and the layout of the lot restricted alternative configurations, and the deck and the pool function as an integrated structure, making relocation impractical and very cost prohibitive. And as previously mentioned, part of the deck was already in place when we purchased the home in 2006. These are not self-created hardships. They are inherent to the property and longstanding conditions. One of Ohio's 7-factor tests for area variances guides your decision, so I'd like to briefly discuss each one or to address each one. The property can still be used without the variance, but the pool and deck provide substantial beneficial use for our family and enhance the property's value. The pre-existing deck footprint established this use pattern long before today, and the placement allowed us to monitor our children's safety while utilizing it. As noted, these features have significantly increased the property's value. Number 2, substantiality of the variance. While the variance is measurable, it is not substantial in effect. Similar improvements exist throughout the surrounding area and neighborhoods, and the structures have been in place without issue. Within the addendum, you will find examples that exist within the surrounding area of similar pool placements and variances within Genoa Township and surrounding areas. For factor 3, the neighborhood character, the pool and deck are consistent with the residential character of the area. They do not alter the look and feel or the feel of the neighborhood. Excuse me. The pool and surrounding deck are not visible from the front and can only be seen in our backyard due to its placement. Government services, as Mr. Benson mentioned, the chief fire has no issue. There is no impact on emergency access, utilities, drainage, or public services. Factor 5, the knowledge of purpose, a portion of the deck existed when we purchased the home in 2006. The expansion was completed during COVID era conditions, and we also had a verbal agreement with our next door neighbor whose property it abuts up to. We explored alternative placement options for the pool. However, each option was either impractical, unsafe, or would conflict with septic and lot constraints. And number 7, spirit and intent of the zoning code. We love our neighborhood. The intent of the setback requirement is to protect neighbors and maintain orderly development. The current design respects that intent. The deck does not attach to the neighbor's fence or shed that sits right on the property line, and the structures do not interfere with their use of their property. We have received no complaints from our neighbors, and several have even enjoyed the benefits of these enhancements through the years. From solar eclipse neighborhood watch gatherings to family birthdays and reunions, our pool and deck have provided us with many wonderful memories. The structures are well maintained, they're visually consistent with the neighborhood, and do not affect sight lines, drainage, or emergency access. This variance simply formalizes an existing condition that has functioned without issue. To comply strictly with the setback, we would need to demolish and rebuild the deck and pool at a significant cost. And even then, the septic system and lot layout would still limit placement options. The variance is the most practical and reasonable solution. In summary, part of the deck pre-existed our ownership. COVID-era constraints significantly limited our design options and timing options, and all 7 Duncan factors are satisfied. The structures are safe and well-maintained and consistent with the neighborhood, and the variance avoids unnecessary hardship while preserving the spirit of the zoning code. For these reasons, I respectfully request that the board approves the side yard setback variance to allow the existing pool and deck to remain as it exists today. I sincerely thank you for your time and consideration.
Any questions for the applicant? None? Nope.
In terms of the financial impact of us denying this and having to potentially move it, would you be comfortable providing, what the cost of the project was up front? For context?
So the pool itself was about $6,700 when we purchased it in 2020. The decking materials alone were about $2,500. To install the liner, we paid roughly about $1,500. I didn't trust myself to install the liner. We had a pool company do it. And they also installed the filter and the filtration system.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It also cost us $600 to fill the pool. So we have never emptied it. It has stayed in there.
Is there a reason you didn't get a permit for the deck in the
We
first place?
honestly had no idea. And so that's when we found out, I immediately called the zoning office and apologized profusely. And Mr. Bell was very, very kind in helping me navigate. So I am so sorry. I'm trying to rectify an error on
No,
my
it
part.
wasn't
Yeah.
in a hate fight. It was more of a, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
A lot of
Yeah.
times, because a lot of times contractors know when a permit is or isn't needed, so that's why, that's why it was, we thought we had a permit, but they didn't get one.
And ask for forgiveness. Trust me.
It's also helpful for us to understand the thought processes that go into it and the rationale for how things end up being in the situation. And we can counsel people effectively going forward.
Let's open it to public comment, and as a reminder, those that wish to speak, come up to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, good evening. My name is Stephanie, and I live at 8290 Beach Avenue. I have been a resident of Genoa Township since 1991, when I was a little kid, and I'm here to approve of the variance for our wonderful neighbors here.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, okay.
My name's Bobby Joe, and I live at 3600 South Old 3C Highway, so I'm at the beginning of Beach Avenue. Shared many days with them. I've moved in 2020. I did watch them construct it. It's very nice. It's enjoyable back there. They've made the yard very safe. They have a 6-foot fence to be able to keep kids out, keep it locked down. It is also just an above-ground pool, not like so then dig down into the ground. But they did a great job maintaining it. Their yard always looks great, and yeah, they do a great job of keeping our neighborhood looking great. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Rosemary, and this is my husband, Nick Lawrence. We live across the street,
8336 Beach.
8336, and we've been there approximately 44 years. They keep their property immaculate. The pool's above ground. It's not an in-ground pool. I agree with everyone that's already spoke. We don't have any problems with any of it.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you. Anybody else? now. See, I knew you'd want to say that. I told you earlier.
My name's David McKay, and I live in Westerville, about 12 miles from her house. But I just wanted to let you know, I spent 3 months with her digging the hole to put that thing in, and it's a good pool. She did a good job putting it in, and it was great for the kids and the family, so.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
it.
Okay. I know who to call now. Okay, any other members of the public wish to speak? Hearing none, we'll close public comment. Okay. Here we are.
I have one more question. So I was looking at this picture, about how tall is the fence?
Yes, it's about 3.5 to 4 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, when we built it, our kids were younger, and so safety was of utmost importance. So we have a 6-foot fence surrounding our property around the edge of the property. And then there's also a fence that goes around the deck to make sure that there's nobody that climbs over the 6-foot fence can get onto the,
Do you cover it in the winter?
we do,
Yeah,
we
so
do.
the ivy portion is 6 feet from the ground.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
that's
an
3-4
additional.
feet, the smaller railing.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So sorry. And we can take that ivy down if you want
Oh,
us
no,
to.
no, I was
So-
just, that's a reference point. That's
Yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. It was a labor of love.
I had one of those when my kids were small too.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Travis, anybody? No? Mark? Want to get back? Have at it.
One of the things that we look at as part of these applications is Duncan v. Middlefield. We're guided by the Ohio Supreme Court that helps provide consistency and guidance to localities like us. And part of what we want to do is read into the record our assessment based on what we've heard here today. The board reviewed section 307.06 of the zoning resolution, reflecting Duncan v. Middlefield as it pertains to the area variance requested from section 1609.02B to allow for an above-ground pool and surrounding deck to encroach onto the side setback in a rural residential zoning district as follows. A, the property in question would yield a reasonable return if we did not grant this variance, and would see beneficial use without the variance. The reason for this is because it's a substantial property. The investment, while significant, was not overwhelming. All this means is that your property still has tremendous value with or without the variance, and we just want to acknowledge that in the record. Secondly, the variance is substantial. Just so you know, from a working perspective, anything that's over 25% tends to be a substantial encroachment. And in this case, you're 100% on one and then 50% on the other. So it's just important from a record perspective that we acknowledge that the variance is substantial, even though the footage is not huge. The essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered, and the adjoining properties would not suffer a detrimental impact as a result of this variance. I think that's been put into evidence by neighbors testifying that they don't have a problem with the changes that have been made, and that the encroachments do not alter the character of the neighborhood in such a way that would bring them to oppose the variance. We've gotten information that the variance would not adversely affect the delivery of government services based on that testimony and assessment. The property owner did purchase the property with the knowledge of the zoning restriction. Not knowing it is really your responsibility, and you've acknowledged that, and you're trying to do the right thing here, which we appreciate. The property owner's predicament cannot be feasibly obviated through a method other than the variance, because as you're looking to sell the property today, it would be either this or tearing things down, which would probably create a hardship that we would see as fairly significant given the level of support that you have from your neighbors. And the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed, and substantial justice would be done by granting the variance. Based on the totality of your application, the support you have in the community, and the way you've kept your property, we believe that substantial justice will be done by granting the variance. And those are the finding of facts that I'd like to submit.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion and then we'll do discussion? Or you want to do discussion first? I'm open to suggestion here. 'Cause
Discussion first. Yeah, I like discussion.
Okay. Oh, you know?
Once we get the motion, I'd like to just kind of keep,
You just want to.
yeah, we discussed it, we got the
Just want
motion.
to kick it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I do want to note that if you look at the submitted, plan of the property, is that there really is nowhere else to put the pool. If you're going to have a pool, there's really nowhere else to put it.
I'm constrained on my property similarly with the leach fields in particular.
Right.
That's a huge piece of property that
Yes.
you can't use, and it forces you to make decisions that you don't
Yeah,
want
I'm
to make.
aware. I've
Yeah.
inspected many that are like that. And
Yeah.
it's- and they put them right next to the structure, and it's like, well, there it is. You're not going to build anything there.
I mean, I was thinking of it as, if they had known that they would need a permit and they asked for a permit and they found out they would need a variance and this came to us ahead of time,
Right,
how would I consider it?
right.
So,
Well, right, and I think you have to consider it on that basis. I will be perfectly honest. I will give you 3 statements that you can do with what you will. A, I have had an above-ground pool very many years ago when I was in California. And when your kids are smaller, they're great. In my later in life, I'm not a big fan of these, however, because in my profession, we consider this personal property, even though it's with the house, it's considered personal property. But with the deck built around it, rarely do you see a deck of this size and quality that this is. And I give the homeowner credit for that. I think at the time, standing in their shoes, I don't know that they're, if in fact you wanted to install that type of a feature, I don't know where else you would have put it or what you would have done. So that they're kind of legally, or they're practically locked into that area. And I don't believe, based on the testimony of the public, I don't think it impacts the neighborhood at all. I don't think there's any impact. I think there's impact on the one neighbor that I don't believe we heard from, but otherwise, there's no other impact to any other neighbor anywhere on the street. So, my comment.
So the neighbor who lives next door that has the 2 red trucks in the driveway, Frank Lafferty, he is willing to come and provide a written statement or whatever is needed. In fact, he helped us install it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you need that,
Okay.
let me know.
Because a lot of times, the neighbors will show up in support or not, and you don't know, you're guessing until they're standing in front of you, so.
He's,
Okay.
yeah, he's 89, so I didn't want
Yeah.
to push him out.
Oh,
Poor guy.
come on.
So-
No, I get it.
We'll give him a pass.
That's it. No, I get it.
I guess I would just be curious who had any issue with the drainage from it? Do we know?
what? Yeah, I didn't bring,
Sir,
Yeah.
why don't you come up to the podium? Because I want to be able to hear you too.
and this, they've already
And
spoken.
Press the button there. There you go.
I understood earlier you said that drainage is not an issue of zoning,
Correct.
so that's not something
It's
that
not material.
we
to
could
anything
talk
can
about, but there is an issue, but we can't talk about that because of zoning, right?
Yes, correct. We, if anybody calls the township about zoning, about water drainage issues, we recommend they contact Delaware County Soil and Water. They will come to your property. They will give you some ideas on how you could fix your drainage, and then it's up to you to pay for it and fix your drainage yourself.
Right. Okay, so, yeah, good, thank you.
I would argue the board could discuss any issues with drainage. I'm not an expert, I don't pretend to be an expert, but if there's a concern or something, if
Have there been any drainage issues?
No, not, no.
Maybe I misunderstood. I thought that was the whole reason this got brought up, because somebody had some
It
issue
was a
with
trigger,
drainage.
it was a trigger that got the whole thing rolling.
Yeah,
It sounded like.
Yeah, the original complaint was about the fence on the other side of the property being over the property line, and the claim that that the pool was installed properly, or improperly, which was causing drainage issues. So when we did our investigation, looking at the fence, basically the first thing we do is we pull up the property on the auditor's site and see what's there. And as soon as we pulled that up and we saw the pool on the deck, we were like, oh, that might be an issue there. As stated, the property owner did get a survey of the property after all of this came to light. It showed that the fence is not over the lot line. So that is fine. That is part of the application that she submitted for the pool and the deck to get these approved. But to get these approved, they first had to get the variance approval to be able to allow them to encroach.
Absolutely.
So that's how we came to this point.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any discussion? Any other? Okay, anybody want to make a motion? God, not everybody.
I'll do it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Campbell.
I'm one of those people that can't just like see people fighting over it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for settling it.
I hate it. I've been like that since I was a kid. I make a motion to approve, to incorporate Exhibit A through E. Is that E? Yeah? As well.
Do we have F for the addendum?
Yeah, we can add F for the addendum.
Exhibits A through E plus the addendum, thank you. As well as the board's findings pertaining to the review of section 307.06 of the Genoa Township zoning resolution into evidence, and to approve the requested variance from section 1609.02B of the Genoa Township zoning resolution for BZA 2026-17, application received May 1, 2026, to allow for an above-ground pool to encroach 5 feet into the required 10 feet setback, and the deck to encroach 10 feet into required 10-foot setback on property known as 335 and Elba Heights subdivision, 8305 Beach Avenue, Galena, Ohio, 43021, zoned rural residential. This motion is based on the following findings of fact pursuant to section 307.04 of Genoa Township zoning resolution. That such a variance or modification will not be contrary to public interest because the public has spoken here today and they have expressed no such reservations. That owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of this zoning resolution will result in unnecessary hardship because A, there is no substantial impact to the community, and B, the folks around this home have not objected to this structure and the accompanying pool. That the approval of such variance or modification thereof is consistent with the spirit of the zoning resolution, and substantial justice shall be done because of all of the items discussed in the findings of fact and the testimony we have heard here today. Approval to the variance is subject to the owner's agreement to the following conditions. I don't see any conditions that we've attached, other than that all permits, zoning or otherwise be obtained pursuant to section 307.11 of the zoning resolution. The approved variance shall lapse, expire, and be null and void in initio if required zoning permits are not obtained within 1 year of this approval. Extensions to this variance may be requested pursuant to section 307.11A and B of the Genoa Township zoning resolution, as may be amended. The board zoning does grant the Genoa Township zoning inspector the authority to extend this variance at their discretion, subject to the deadlines established within section 307.11A of the Genoa Township zoning resolution, as may be amended. I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and a second. I do want to note too that the alternative to approval of this variance is removal of the pool and the deck, which I find to be an extreme hardship on the homeowner. So with that in mind, are you ready to call roll, everybody?
Let's go.
Mr. Campanella?
Yes.
Ms. Ludlow?
Yes.
Mr. Wilcoxon?
Yes.
Ms. Yu?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion carried, and your variance is approved.
Good luck in your new home.
Thanks for spending 2 hours
The
with
property.
us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And the
Thank
hearing's
you.
concluded at 8:35. Okay, we have other business.
It's the first time we've had a cheer. The first time we've had a cheer.
Oh, not my first time.
Well, my first time, yeah.
I get cheers all the time.
If the guy would have just split it in two, would that have been more successful?
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
talk on applications that are open.
I can't render any opinions on this.
Oh, we're not done yet. So, if you guys hug it out outside or quietly.
I mean, they,
Thank you, Chief, for coming in. We have one other item of business.
Yes, so we do lay out a little structure for election of officers on page 10. You can follow it if you want. You don't have to follow it. I can tell you the zoning commission did it last month. Theirs consisted of one person made a motion that this person should be the chair, this person should be the vice chair, and they said all approved, and that was that. So you can do it as you wish.
Okay.
If you want to be formal and you want to do nominations and then close nominations and then
Hey,
and then
it's not
accept
about me.
nomination and then vote for the nomination, that's fine. We just need to have a motion that announces who a chair and who a vice chair are. However you want to do it.
Thanks, Paul.
Have fun, is what he just said.
Yeah, what do you say?
What I heard was, just get done.
Yeah, really.
So I'd like to get started if I can. I'd like to propose, nominate Christina Ludlow for the chair position for our board. The rationale for this nomination, A, is your prior experience in Westerville and your strong history of public service. I'm also very intrigued by your background and what you bring in terms of understanding of technology and how it's used today in a public-private environment. And I also think from a generational perspective, one of the things that I was hoping to do was to leave the community and the board in the hands of a new generation. And with that in mind, I nominate you for the chair role, if you're willing to accept.
I don't know how this goes, but I will accept with a
However you.
couple comments. Happy to serve as chair. Also happy to continue to learn from current Chair Harmon as he continues his service, to maybe one day then, step in as chair at a future date too. Seeing that I am also very new to the board and there's probably plenty to learn. That's what I have to say there.
Mr. Holleran, yes.
We're not going on a case, so we allowed to nominate anyone as well?
Yeah.
I would think so.
You are 100% part of
Yeah,
it.
that's fine. You just won't vote on the nominations, but yes, you can feel free to speak about it.
Oh.
Yeah, turn your microphone on. Because you're not on the board. You're just, there's only 5 members of the board, so.
I was actually going to vote for Mark for chairman as well. I think a lot of times, as well, there's a precedence right now.
We haven't nominated Mark yet.
Mark?
Campanella.
He's saying you
I
would
think
nominate.
we're in the middle of it.
Okay.
Middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just nominated Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's the only one that's been nominated for chair right now.
Yes. And I was
Yeah.
making a second nomination,
Oh, okay. I thought you said Mark, so,
Mark Campanella.
yeah. 'cause
Hang
you
on,
voting, you said
hang
voting
on.
for Mark, so that's why.
I did? I said
Yes.
voting?
Yes, you
Okay,
said
I'm
voting, so
sorry.
that's why-
I'm
that's
sorry.
why I was
I
confused.
maybe I did say voting.
Okay,
I
yes.
actually was meaning nomination. I would like to
Okay.
nominate for chairman, Mark Campanella. My mentality behind it as well is, I've talked to all of you. There's definitely a lot of experience within all of you. And I would say that each one of you would have a merits from Travis, being on the other side, being a code enforcement officer. You've, Teresa, have been here forever. One of the things that struck me about Mark is almost mirroring with Ms. Ludlow here is being from a business background myself, your aptitude for technology and your openness to kind of incorporate, new ideas. You have a little bit of the old flair that I have for preserving our community, but I think you have that the rationale for, we're moving into a new age here at Genoa Township, and I think that minds like yours that have embraced a lot of the future of technology, sort of these things make you a prime candidate for, in my eyes, for a nomination for chairman. So that would be my nomination for chair.
Thank you very much. I'm very flattered by that. I will not serve as chair. I'm very inspired by your confidence, and another time in my life I may have accepted. My goal, honestly, is to help support the next generation of leaders. I'm also very, not that it matters, I'm also very flattered to support a woman in the role as chair, and I think that where she is in her career with her past level of service, I would prefer to serve under her, which is why I nominated her, but thank you.
I would be inclined to second Mr. Campanella's motion.
I'll also happily nominate Mr. Harmon for chair as well, too. Teresa, would you like to second that?
Yeah, so,
Look,
I had planned to do that, but, I mean, that was,
clearly you guys want to change. And that's fine. If you guys want to change and that's the change, then let's do it. I will wake up tomorrow morning the same as I did today. It's not a big deal. I've been doing this a long time, as you can tell, maybe too long. So if you guys want to make a change, then we'll make a change. It sounds like you do.
I think I'm interested. Are you?
I was gonna nominate Mark.
To be fair, this is only my second election, and I wasn't under the impression that it was just assumed that we just continue the status quo. I mean, it's not, I kind of thought everybody kind of, I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna go out there and you guys talk. You guys do it. Seriously, you guys do whatever the heck you want, because it makes no difference to me. I've sat here, I've sat there, it doesn't matter. So, and there's no hard feelings. It's okay.
I was just gonna just say as well, my comment, well, it is turn on. I personally, I think every single one of you was qualified. I mean, the two people that I was gonna do was actually coming in tonight was Mark, and was actually gonna be you, Teresa. For my two. You know, Christina, if you were here, I'm sorry, I wouldn't nominate you. You've only sat on one meeting here.
That is very fair.
I think if, like, the
I
next
already
5-year
see.
term, I think it's not about your qualifications. I think it was about your time. I was actually going to vote for either Mark, because of this as well, and the other person I was going to also, because either way it was going to be you, Teresa. I think that you've been just as here as long as Mark. I don't know if you've ever been chairman. Again, this is my only year as this as well. I think from a chairwoman perspective, would that be the right thing? Chairwoman now, I guess?
This chair, yeah.
Whatever. All right, you're the top dog, all right, is where I was going. It was between the both of you. If Mark wasn't doing it, like I said, I was torn between the both of you guys tonight. And yeah,
How long is the term for? Just one, or we do this every year?
1 year, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, this is Mark's, he's finishing his term. His term expires next year. I don't know if he plans to.
How long has Mark been the chair?
The chair, maybe 3 or 4 years?
I like the idea, and I'm flattered by the nomination. I like the idea of serving a little bit longer on this board before assuming the chair role. I'm happy to do it. I certainly can rise to the challenge. But I do think there is merit in a little bit longer tenure to feel comfortable, to be able to represent the township and the community to the best of my ability, to feel like I have the best rhythm of how this particular board operates.
Part of the reason why I feel strongly about your nomination is because I feel like your presence here represents an opportunity for you to strive to step up to that role. And my experience in bringing people into new roles is that they over-prepare, they over-execute, and they try to live up to the role. And I think that a part of my rationale for putting you, even if you're not there, Mark will still be here for you to be coached. And I think that your short tenure is an asset rather than a liability. This is not rocket science, and you have a lot of support. So that's my point of view. I also really love the fact that you have experience in Westerville, which in some ways presents different types of challenges in a different environment. And I think we all benefit from that.
It does, yes. Thoughts, Teresa?
I like to hear what Travis has to say on this one. I agree. There's, I mean, like, I'm gonna put you on the spot, like, I'm usually very talkative, but. All right, I'm gonna make a formal motion, I'm making a formal motion for Teresa, you.
I don't think Teresa wants it.
I am not chair material.
Yeah.
I am a good assistant.
I appreciate
I
that.
am vice chair material, which I'm not wedded to either. I'm not, not campaigning for
Sure,
myself
sure,
for that either.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, like, the sun will rise tomorrow no matter what, but I think it should be someone who, quite frankly, wants to do it. I don't necessarily love that kind of spotlight. I don't want to do it. Doesn't sound like Mark's doesn't want to do it.
Well,
I think it's either going to be
in the past,
Christie or other
I would
Mark.
have loved to do it.
Sure, sure.
It's
That's-
actually,
yeah.
it's actually, it goes against character, as you can tell from me,
I'm-
to not.
I would
not sit for
agree.
the
The
role.
little I know you, I would agree.
You know what I mean? It goes, my goal is to lift up the next generation.
Sure.
I think a lot of guidance was here, that's why I did for you, Teresa. I mean, to me, I mean, it's no offense, but it's just, you've been here I think you're more than chairman material, but I go with experience, especially with right now. So, I mean, if, you know, Teresa, you don't want it, I'll go down and say, Mark, maybe it's his last year.
Yeah, like I said, I don't.
Seems like
I don't
everybody I
think
nominate doesn't want it, so
going
I'm like
to,
the
yeah.
black locust. So I'm just gonna go Travis, this, to this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mark and I have talked, and I'm certainly not going to speak for him, but, you know, I mean, I don't know that he's going to apply apply again. I mean.
It's for 1 year. I did look, in the rules of procedure for the BZA, to see if there was anything, if you can't come to a consensus, what would happen. It's not in there. Maybe I'm gonna put a note for Mr. Schaefer that maybe that's something we can put a note for the next time we do rules of procedure. We can put something in there regarding that. So you do need to come to some consensus. Again, it is for 1 year. And you just have to have a chair and a vice chair. And it's all consensus of the sitting board.
Teresa, will you accept
so-
the nomination for vice chair again?
Yeah.
I therefore nominate you for vice chair.
Second.
Yeah.
I guess having said all that, uncomfortable as it may be, I think other Mark needs to be in here if we're gonna come to some sort of consensus.
Yeah, there would have to be a formal
Yeah.
vote for
Sure.
I move to name so-and-so chair, and I move to name so-and-so vice chair. That we do need to have a formal motion and vote on those two
And
things.
vote for
so-
both at once?
You could do both as once if you want. You could do them separately if you want.
I don't think that's gonna get us anywhere fast.
Mr.
so-
Harmon needs to be in here when we do the
Sure,
vote,
sure.
so.
Christie, I think you could save a lot of time by, do you want to do it, or do you want to wait a year?
I think I would prefer to probably wait a year I think, again, I can do it, I will do it happily, but I think for the circumstances and just coming to the board that Mr. Harmon continuing his tenure for the next year while I observe and get my feet under me probably is the best call. But again, if he, and I
Will
think
you
that,
stand, will you stand for a vote?
I will.
Will you
I-
vote for yourself?
I will not vote for myself. I will not vote for myself because I do not want to vote against Mr. Harmon. I think he's doing a great job and, if he was ready to take a step back,
Sure.
I think that would be a different story for me. I don't think he is, and I think this is potentially his last year as well, maybe on the board altogether, we don't know. But since it only is a 1-year tenure, and I'll still have 4 potentially after this to entertain a vote, then I think that I'm not ready to feel contentious at the moment. But thank you for the nomination, and I appreciate
So
the
no
vote.
change.
All right. A lot of uncomfort for nothing.
It's like everybody I vote for just runs for the damn hill.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
I'm not running, I'm just,
I don't want to deal with wheeling.
You what?
I don't want to deal with wheeling.
I think knowing some time to know some characters, some.
Yeah, is that wind?
Historical
rain.
background might be good.
As soon as those people walked outside,
Guys,
I know, I
know.
could tell if that was like,
No,
like an
that was-
AC
yeah,
or,
that
no,
was
it's
definitely the rain.
a storm.
I'll just need a motion. If you want to motion both positions in one motion, you can. If you want to do two motions, you can do two motions, and then a vote. Or votes.
What? I didn't hear a word you said.
I said we will need a motion or two motions. You can do one motion for chair and vice chair. You can do separate motions. We just need a formal
Oh, that's
motion
not
and a
about
vote.
me.
Well, and a second and a vote.
I can make this quick. I'd like to nominate Mark Harmon as our chairman and Teresa Yu as our vice chairman. They have both been done great work for this board, and without any other nominee standing, that is, I so move.
Second?
I vote yes.
Yes.
Was it the rain? I don't know.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't
call
know.
call the roll, Mr. Harmon, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
trying
I
to be right,
have
are we
to call
calling
the
the
vote,
roll or are we
don't I?
doing aye?
Mr. Campanella.
I said yes,
Oh, you said yes.
yes. And I did the motion.
Sorry.
Get it on the
You
record.
shouldn't let me sit out there. It's hot.
No one told you to go out there.
I told you to go out there. I wanted you guys to be able to talk.
You could have been here.
You could definitely been here.
Yeah, but you know I wouldn't be able to shut up. So, Mr. Wilcoxon,
Yes.
Ms. Yu,
Yes.
Ms. Ludlow.
Yes.
Mr. Oh, you guys aren't voting. Okay. And I'm going to abstain.
So it's so moved.
Yeah, motion carried.
Congratulations and thanks you for your service.
Okay. And thanks, guys. I don't know what I did wrong. I'll fix it. I don't know.
Listen, let's not leave here with bad blood.
I
I
got
don't think any of it
First
was,
off, Look, I don't,
yeah, no.
I.
I don't think that's fair. Yeah.
Look, I think you all guys are all, here, let's adjourn. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Look,